You know, one of the most interesting thing that I have actually came to experience in life is that even if you are the most successful person in your field, meaning you have accumulated vast amounts of knowledge to the point where nobody has reached and strived for, you can still suck at being able to create something. And although I don't know if that is the proper name for that, I like to call it the law of creation. So, this law is not like the law of gravity or maybe even the laws of time travel if you are interested in that sort of thing. It has made me realize that law of creation is something that almost every human faces a problem with. Now, to clarify a bit, law of creation is simply put is if you go out to create something or build something and that task that you had actually expected to build or create takes an enormous amount of time. So what will end up happening is you are 90% most likely to abandon that task altogether. Doesn't matter how much effort you were willing to put in, how much enthusiastic you were, how much passionate you were. If that task takes an unforeseeable amount of time, you are going to abandon that project altogether. So say for example Elon Musk decides to write an ebook on rocket science so that he can share and distribute this book among new and much more passionate engineers so that he can create an army for his company. And which is where the thing comes in, that he thinks to himself that maybe writing this book is going to take him 2 months. He fully dedicates himself to it, doesn't fall into the trap of toolbox fallacy, and then he comes across this fact that wow, it is taking a lot more than 2 months. Is it worth my time? Because I could be doing much more important things. And anybody who has researched anything on Elon Musk knows that he works for 15 to 16 hours every day and puts in around 90 hours work weeks every day. So he is pretty busy person. And here is why actually it made me much more interesting to look at the things. So let's say Charles Darwin, who has written the book about evolution basically, the origin of species has been written by Charles Darwin, and he's also the person that said survival of the fittest, which was based on the fact of evolution of every organism that is around us today in this day and age even. If he started to write that book and he realized that halfway through the book that this is taking too much time and through circumstances completely out of control. So for example, if you decide to write a book today, all you have got to do is just get it out there, accumulate all your thoughts in one place, start writing it, go to Amazon, and you can get the ebook published as easily as possible. But in the earlier days, for example, when the fax machine, when the printing press was recently out, what happened was that you could not get your book published so easily. You would have to know a lot of people who own a printing press. You need to have a build rapport with them. Then you need to convince them that why this is a good book, why you are a most credible person for why this book would be sold. And because of these many reasons, what happens is the book doesn't even get published. Now let's say if I was to learn programming tomorrow and build an app that is a very simple app, which is a daily tasks app, wherein you can write your tasks and on appropriate time or intervals an alarm would come in and ask you, did you complete this task today? And I start to learn programming. I have an expectation for myself that I'm going to take 1 year to learn programming, and in the second year I'm going to start applying all the things that I've learned and use that. So even if in the first year I learn, but my implementation goes wrong in the second year when I'm starting to actually execute on that, and if I don't find the solution that I'm looking out for, maybe I tried in many communities that are out there, maybe in the JavaScript communities, maybe in the React communities, and I realized that you know what, this is a problem that I've landed upon and it is taking much more time than I had thought to be. I am 90% most likely to actually abandon the project altogether. This is the law of creation. And what ends up happening is And even in the case of Elon Musk himself, when SpaceX was actually getting built, the first rocket, he was given a budget of around $100,000, I don't know, to build his first rocket. And he told his engineering team that, you know what, I'm going to give you a budget of $10,000, get the blueprints and the models ready, and here is your timeline. Elon Musk was given a timeline of around a year, but he told his engineering team that you have a timeline which was a fraction of the original timeline given to him. And thus he created a fake sense of urgency in his brain, in his engineering team, so that they complete the process. And even if there was a buffer, so that even if the time was taken a bit more, they are still most likely to create an output. Law of creation also affects our ability to be incentivized with the action. That is the reason why 90% people avoid, because they are not exactly incentivized by the promotion, and they find other incentives in things that they are currently pursuing. So if there is a scholar out there who has limitless knowledge on human psychology, and he intends to write the most in-depth detailed book out there, but he's not able to find the right publisher for him, what is gonna happen is he realizes that I am much more interested in gathering all this knowledge. I tried to share this knowledge, but so far I haven't been so much successful. So it's rather that I keep this knowledge for myself and for the community that actually listens to me, than going out there on a limb and do the unthinkable of writing the book, because where I don't have any experience in, and I had given myself the time to finish this thing. If it's not done today, it's not going to be done tomorrow, and it's just going to be a list of incomplete or unfinished projects that are out there. So this is the law of creation. You need to keep a buffer in check, so that law of creation makes sure that you are able to finish your task.